right, y'all. Good morning. We bringing you an early episode because we got somebody full of energy. You know what I mean? And uh, y'all know, as I said, we doing this thing all 2024, education and entertainment. We bringing you some topics that you need to know about, and we bringing the people that's going to inform you and get you well prepared as you make a different type of journey. You know what I mean? And so, one of the things that I like to do with these episodes is attach a dollar amount or some type of item that I purchase from the community. And so I haven't told Michelle this, but listen, I'm willing. I'm gonna put about $50 to this particular video. We're gonna buy about $50 worth of treats, you know what I mean? And then we're gonna raffle it off to somebody. So y'all know how y'all gotta do to win that. You gotta go to my YouTube, subscribe to my channel, like, share the video, and comment something that you learned by watching this video that you didn't know before. You know what I mean? That's the way that and then I'm gonna pick somebody at random, and that person gonna be able to taste some vegan treats. You know what I mean? They're amazing, and they are wonderful in terms of health properties, and they will get your day started in the right way. And I want to be able to bless somebody with that, as well as support Michelle like I've done in the past. So $50 to this particular video, all going to Michelle so that we can purchase some food and some of y'all can taste it. That said, let me not waste any more time because the morning got to get going. So we got somebody here from the Austin community that's just very cheerful, full of energy, full of life. And it wasn't always that way because there was some things that led her to this journey that she's currently on with providing the Austin community with some vegan sustenance. And so to that point, I want to go ahead and bring in Michelle and welcome her to Professor and Friends, as well as ask her to start off with giving some facts about herself that you all don't know. So, hey, Michelle.
Hello there, Dr. Rutis, and
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Professors and Friends. It's
Mhm.
just truly an honor. It's an honor when people think of me in such a way. I don't take anything lightly, so I appreciate you for inviting me to this
For
segment.
the second time, because we
Second
actually
time.
did this right here where I'm sitting at, but the editing was just so much that I never put the video out, and I do have it on my other computer, but it was just too much. So I just decided that this platform, this virtual access, made it easier for anybody who wanted to view it to be able to view it, and we still be able to get the same quality conversation. So thank you for being available to do something like this once again because the other one didn't come out.
You're more than welcome. It's a pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
always.
Oh, all right, no problem. So let's start with the beginning. You know, obviously you have a business that is in the background of you. Thank God for raw vegan treats, and
Yes.
that wasn't always in existence. You just started it how long ago?
So, Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats has been in existence from 2016 to 2019 with research only.
Okay.
Researching in the kitchen, messing up recipes, playing around for
Mm-hmm.
my sake, for my
Mm-hmm.
mom's sake,
Mm-hmm.
to help us to become healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until 2019 my mom says, "Girl, you gotta get this out there. Somebody needs to know about Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats." And I thought, Mom, you crazy. Look, this is helping us. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
keep it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But God saw other plans and mom did too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what was the journey? Why did you start to invest into these recipes and try to figure out how to make the best tasting vegan foods? Let's start there.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. So in 2000, I was in undergrad. And
Mhm,
so I was the first to go to graduate from high school, the first to go to college, married young, had children right into college. I had one son when I was a freshman in college.
mhm,
And then by the age of 20, I had two children. So I never seen anything that I was doing done before.
mhm,
So I was the first to do it. But I was grateful and making sure that when I did these things, that the ones who were behind me, like my nieces, my nephews, my children, would see how it was done because I've never
mhm,
seen it. My mom taught us to be hard workers. She taught us how to work in society, treat people well, but most of all, be a lover of Christ, a follower of Christ. That's all I knew. That's all I
Mm,
followed. So to graduate from college, never seeing it done, I made some hiccups, and
mm,
but it was for the ones behind me. So I took in my senior year of college 21 credit hours, two children. I was doing internship with WTTW Channel 11. I thought that my career would begin in television, where I would be a television news anchor, possibly somewhere on Saturday Night Live, because I did a lot of voiceovers at Northeastern University.
mhm,
And I did so much, but I was the first to do it. So I just had a zeal for life, a zest for life, and just kept. It was no stopping me. So in October 2000, I began to have abdominal cramps. I was
mm,
bleeding in my bowels. I was up to 13 bowel movements a day.
mm,
I didn't know what it was because this was something that wasn't talked about in our community. You heard of high
mhm,
blood pressure, you heard of kidney failure, you heard of diabetes, but never what I was having. So no
mhm,
one understood. And so we were doing all kinds of remedies. My mom went back to the South to do remedies to find out what was going on with my stomach. So I went
mhm,
to the doctor finally, and the doctor stated that what you have is um, anti-inflammatory or inflammatory disease called called Crohn's disease.
mhm,
And he said it's a part of colitis, it's an umbrella of IBS, it's an umbrella of diverticulosis. It's all in the umbrella. But this was still new, and it was
mhm,
still facing it was fresh for African Americans because the doctor at the time, and I'm going to be name calling because these doctors and these schools and everyone, anything that I name is
mhm,
because it holds a special place in my life.
mhm,
So Dr. Markey, oh my gosh, the best doctor in the world, and he's retired now. Dr. Markey says, Michelle, you have a white man's disease. African Americans is coming to surface where they're having Crohn's disease, but this is a
mhm.
white man's disease. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I got to find out who is my daddy for real.
Why say? But why did he say a white man's disease?
Because more white people are prominent to Crohn's disease at that time.
Mm,
And they didn't have a lot of research with African Americans. They didn't have a
mhm,
lot of known cases. It was just coming up and coming. And the ones, and then he started stating that it's out there, but African Americans are embarrassed about it. They're not talking
mm.
about it. So that's
Why?
why we found out
What's so
later.
embarrassing? I'm sorry. What was so embarrassing about it? Is it the symptoms? Was
This,
the embarrassing
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, because
Okay.
you can be somewhere and next thing you know, your digestive system give you 2 seconds to find a bathroom.
Oh
And if you
wow.
don't make it, then what happens? You're embarrassed. You're in the store, you in the
Um,
gym, you running, you're out to lunch with a girlfriend, and you're like, oh, you had to know where your restrooms were. And so, and that
wow.
has happened to me many a times in class.
Oh
I
wow.
excuse myself in class, running out. I was at WTTW Channel 11 putting together segments and editing and for Chicago Tomorrow because Chicago
Mhm,
Tomorrow no longer exists. So
mhm,
you probably you're way younger than I am. So
mhm.
Chicago Tomorrow was a segment that I was working on at WTTW, and I had to get up and I had to run out and 13 times, and I would count like I had a sheet of paper. That was the fifth time, sixth time, seventh time.
Oh
You
wow.
lose weight, you are fatigued, but
Yeah.
you learn to work through it.
Right.
So you don't know any better. So
Yeah.
with that experience came a lot of wisdom that God had given me. So now I know God put me in that on that assignment so that I can help
Mhm,
others.
mhm. Wow. Okay. So you learned that you had Crohn's disease, and then I'm sure the doctor recommended a bunch of medications for you to take so that it can help heal you, right? So I'm
So
sure that was the
yeah,
next. Okay, please go ahead. So,
absolutely. Thank you. So the doctor recommended like three medications at that time, Asacol. Then he said, oh, you got inflammation. It's really high. You're going to put you on some Flagyl. And these are generic names.
mhm,
And then it kept just going up and up and up until finally
mhm,
2013, 2014, and possibly I believe 2015 is when I got to my worst. I'm so sorry. Let me repeat. Let me go back. 2012 was my worst because I
Mhm.
remember 12 years in. And at this point, it had got outrageous because the doctor was like, no fried foods, this type of bread, or you can't have this type of pasta, or you can't have this type of, you have to watch popcorn, you got to watch nuts. So I said, doctor, what will I eat? I mean, you want to
Mhm.
eat air? So that's what I felt. I felt constricted.
Mhm.
I just felt like I was limited. And
Mhm.
what about my home cooked meals that we cook for soul food Sundays and our
Right.
food that we cook for our holidays? I was limited on that too because I found even at Christmas time, eating up the dressing that my mom would cook and that I've
Mhm.
been cooking, that she been cooking for ever since I was born, and mac and cheese. It was sending me to the hospital for weeks at a time
Mm.
just for them to put IV fluids in me because it was aggravating my system. So 2012,
So look, let me
uh,
ask. Okay, so I know the diagnosis was Crohn's disease, but was the fact that they were putting you on the medications contributing to it as well? Because obviously prior to 2000, you weren't experiencing these things. So you're saying from the year 2000 to 2012, things like just eating dressing was sending you to the hospital, or
yeah,
was that even after the medications?
well, yeah, because the dressing it's high in fat. It's
Hmm.
high, and especially the way we were making it. It's high
Hmm.
in sugars because you got some
Hmm.
Jiffy mix along with the
Hmm.
cornmeal, and Mama would
Hmm.
have some gravy and all kinds of stuff. You got all of this.
All the
You're
good
eating
stuff. No.
all that good stuff. Ooh, yum yum. All that good stuff. And then the mac and cheese got 8 different types of cheese in it to make the
You hear me?
cheese. And she put an egg in it. Ooh, Lord, have mercy.
Yeah, you
Think
hear me?
about mama. Then
Yeah.
you would not only eat that, then you have your fried foods. You have your fried chicken. And mama said I used to have coon. I just still fight that to this day. I was not eating the coon. She said, yes, you were. You were eating that coon. But I remember the pig. I remember
Yeah.
the pig ears. I remember the pig feet. I remember it all. And then in the dressing, you would get the liver and the gizzards out of it. So, hey, I
Hmm.
could testify to all of that. That was me.
Hmm.
And so, and plus more. So you had all these carbs and sugars, and you had all the added sugars. And it was, a mess, but that we were happy. Food brought unity, food brought life.
Hmm. Hmm.
So eating that way, 12 years later, my system got worse.
Hmm.
And that's when the doctor put me on 26 pills a day, along
26
with
pills a day.
a day,
Mm.
and intravenous shots to go along with the infusion lab. So every 6 weeks, I
Wow.
would go into the infusion lab for 4 hours in order to get Remicade into my system so that it
Yeah.
can stop. And Remicade is not for uh, it was more so for arthritis, not for Crohn's disease. But
Hmm.
researchers found that Remicade can also help victims who were experiencing Crohn's disease, colitis, and diverticulosis.
Hmm.
So, also I found that, with all those pills, I said, okay, I'm a 3-time marathoner.
Hmm.
I couldn't get to mile 5. I had to go in, and so there's my PR. There's all
Hmm.
the 5 months that I've been working hard to get a PR because
Hmm.
I had to make sure that almost every rest stop, if not, every other rest stop, I had to use the
Yeah.
restroom.
Yeah. Mm.
So that's when I prayed and I asked
Hmm.
God in 2012, God, you have to change this palette. I've tried everything. I had a girlfriend who helped me find diets that we could, see if it was a cure. We did everything and
Hmm.
nothing worked. So I prayed and went back to prayer and said, God, you got to help me with my palate. Help me to change it. The doctor says if I change my palate, at that time, Dr. Markey said, if you change your palate, you will get better. But I didn't know how because, you know, first of all, we're limited income. I've been a student for life. I've always been in
Hmm.
school, and I had 2 children. And so I'm like, they came first, and money was tied. And so 2012, I asked God to let me touch the hem of his garment. like the Samaritan woman and make me whole. If you can do
Mhm.
it for her, you can do it for me. So please allow me to become the witness for your people in this world. And
Mm.
he did just that. And so, but it wasn't overnight. It took 2013, 2014, 2015. Voila, I met someone in a gym, and
Mm.
her name is Trinia. And I told you I'm going to name drop people because these are
Mhm.
important people in my life. And Trinia, she at that time, she said, we met at a Trump party, and we just clicked. And I was talking to her about the Crohn's disease, and we talked about working out. And she said, "Girl, I can take you through this raw vegan diet. It's called a raw vegan detox." And she
Mhm.
told me what all we would have to do. And she said, "But it will help you." She said, because it's helped me because she had a rare kidney disease, and it helped
Mhm.
her. So I said, "Okay, take me along this journey." And she started taking my daughter and I, but it was spiritual. My daughter and I, we would clash throughout the years. At this time, my daughter is in her teen years. So we would
Mhm.
clash, and we began to see the stars and the moons and the sun. And oh, we can feel it. And next thing you know, we would cry, and we would talk about things that we never talked about. And then I began to really reach back spiritually in my womb and tell her how I felt when I was carrying her, and the
Mm.
way I felt carrying her as a 20-year-old. She was feeling that at that age.
Now wait a minute,
Well,
because this
yeah,
this,
it
this
got
sound
it
like,
got
wait,
spiritual.
are we talking about eating food or doing drugs? Which one we do? What were y'all doing? Hold on, wait a minute.
It's coming. It's coming. So the raw vegan diet, right? That raw vegan diet, baby. Anybody who can contest to being raw vegan just for a week, you feel different, you
Mm.
look different, you hear different, you see different, all because you are going back to the Mother Earth of eating everything that's pure that God has prepared for us on this earth. And
Mhm.
uh and so my daughter and I, we began to get a closer bond after like really talking about what she was feeling that we never discussed before, and through food.
Mhm.
Food
Mhm.
is medicine. And I know it's a
Yeah, it is.
cliche, but food is medicine. And we begin to draw closer through the raw vegan diet until to this day. Now she's 27 years old, and we're best girlfriends. And I never saw that
Oh,
coming, because
wow.
she couldn't stand me because I was tough. I was a tough mom, and I was
Mhm.
like, "You're gonna get through school, and you're gonna get through this society, and you're gonna be an asset." And I was hardcore discipline. I was a disciplinary, and with my nieces, nephews, with any child that you bring in my path, I was that person. So,
Mhm.
long story short, got through the raw vegan diet for about 6 weeks, and when I tell you the medication just started dropping off,
Mhm.
and I felt it in my spirit that I no longer needed certain medication. Now, I will say this. Um, I wanted to talk to Dr. Markey at that time, doing this in 2016. It started in 2016. I consulted with Trinia in 2015.
Mhm.
That lifestyle started in 2016.
Mhm.
I had to get a new doctor because Dr. Markey retired. So when I
Mhm.
got the new doctor, and I will not say his name because I'm currently with him,
Mhm.
he saw me at my worst. And he was like, "Okay, we got to get you." I was like, I just can't be on this medication. And he did colonoscopies. He saw how damaged my colon was, all 12
Mm.
feet, from
Mm.
transverse sigmund, the ileum, all of that. It was like
Mhm.
chopped up meat, beat meat, like, how you tenderize a steak?
Yeah.
That's how my insides look. I still got pictures to show it. I carry those pictures to remind me where I used to be.
Wait,
And
so you're saying it was the disease or it was the medication again?
so thank you for asking that. Good question. So it wasn't the medication. The medication helps to sort of mask it because
Mhm.
there's no cure. The medication helps to mask and to help to get it to a point where it's leveled, not where I'm inflamed and I'm running to the bathroom. So it just gets it to settle down. So it's the disease that makes you the most sick. you're sick, and it's your body. It's an autoimmune disease. So it's your body attacking itself.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. So I have to say, thank you, God, for sending Trinia my way. And
Mm-hmm.
we worked on that 2016, but the food was so expensive. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where thank God for raw vegan treats was birth,
Mm-hmm.
because I was going into these, and I'm not going to call these stores or these restaurants, and I would go to these restaurants and stores, and I was spending $500 a month. Not,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still at that same level of where I was eating how I was then. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that I make my own food.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was spending $500 a month. That was just for my food, along with my family's food. So I
Mm.
never stopped cooking 2 meals. I never
Before
forced
we
my
get
family. Yeah.
so before we get, because I do have some questions centered around that, I do want to circle back to the spiritual awakening that you and your daughter experienced. Was that because of the food, or what exactly led to you all being able to have the conversation about her being in the womb and what you were feeling and her being able to connect to those feelings? That threw me. I wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
circle back to that.
Well, good question. That was great. And you caught it. So, when I told my daughter, I told my family I was going raw vegan, and don't bring no donuts in this house. Don't bring this. Had to set the rules because we are sweet eaters. Most people from the South, I came from a Southern household with my mom. So don't bring this, don't bring that. I'm going raw. I need you guys to support me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did, but I had to be strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter said, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to do it with you, Mom. I want to support you. And she's so supportive, just like I am. So she's the mirror of me, which is just feistier and smarter. So she said, I'm going to take this journey with you. Um, and I want to see how this works. And she did.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
we
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so we we
Okay.
we went on a journey together, and she was a teenager. And so as we were on the journey together, we had to journal how we felt that day. Like,
Mm.
we had to journal, what was it like being in this body? What's the difference? What did you encounter? Being raw vegan, you encounter a lot. And
Mm.
to go through this journey, you need support. And that's one of the things that Trini has said. You have to have your supportive community that understands. So my daughter went on a journey so that I didn't do it alone, and that she can relate.
Okay.
And so we were
Okay.
able to relate to certain things. And what led up to that conversation was, I said, I cried today. And I said, I cried, and I felt like I wasn't a good mother. And I felt like,
Mm.
if it was anything that I've done when you were younger and you might be possibly upset with me about, and I was being transparent. I said, I'm not gonna be apologetic for how I raised you, because that's embedded in me. And you're gonna
Mhm.
you're gonna see it later in life. You may not see it now, but I'm sorry for if I didn't get it right. I'm sorry if I didn't, uh, if I wasn't the ideal person that didn't listen, wasn't an active listener. I felt like this is the way you're gonna do it, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. I
Mhm.
don't. You have no say so. I'm
Mhm.
sorry if I didn't give you a voice. So I was being apologetic, and she began to cry, and she was
Mm.
like, "Mom, I never felt love from you. I saw
Mm.
you worked hard, and
Mhm.
you really worked hard to be who you were. And I saw all the emphasis that you put on our field trips, and you were a part of everything in our lives, but I
Mm.
didn't feel the love." Oh, what she say that for? I couldn't say nothing. I just
Mm.
cried. I sat there, and she cried, and we were transparent. And I said, "You know why you didn't feel love? Maybe because, let's go back to the womb." I said, when I was carrying you, uh I felt so much alone, because I was trying to go to college. My mom said, "Stop going to college because you need to go and become a hairstylist." I did
Mhm.
that. I became a hairstylist, and then I went back to college. So I had all these moving pieces,
Mhm.
and I just felt like I'm alone. This is a lot to do.
Mm,
And did I have to do it? It was like I was setting the tone, but I didn't know how to set the tone. I didn't have no one to talk my language. People felt like, oh, you're weird. Oh, people felt like, you know, uh, stop my camera and continue to talk because there's gonna be movement in my background.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I hope that doesn't interrupt anybody from,
Uh, yeah,
being
no,
able to
you
pay
good.
attention. Yeah, so I just didn't have the key to, properly do certain things. So
Mhm,
when I was doing it as a mother who didn't see her mom, and my mom gave me all she could, but I did
mhm,
things a little bit different, and I
mhm,
added her things too. So, this made me feel as though, um, you know, I had some stress, unnecessary baggage that
mhm,
I put on myself that I'm realizing that, sometimes I was angry because, I didn't have this or I didn't have that or, just growing up. And I realized that now being, in my 40s, thinking about like life, was that stress that you put on yourself? Yeah, it was. It was a lot of
mhm,
stress I put on myself. It was unnecessary, but I didn't have anyone to tell me that until now. So this is,
mhm.
so leading up to this raw veganism, it taught me at that time when I was, like, girl, you were okay. You were living a good life.
Mhm,
Having the two children, being married, and having all this stuff. You had a good life, but you were looking at things that you didn't have versus to the things that you had. So
mhm,
raw veganism took me in levels. And
mhm.
I was like competing against myself and didn't know. So I don't know if that makes sense, but when I talk to
Yeah,
other people who were raw vegan and I was telling them about how I was maturing in ways and still is, they say, Michelle, that's perfectly normal. You're looking at you. You're not looking at nobody else. I was always blaming others instead of myself, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, I hear you. It does. I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That. So, thank you for expounding on that.
And
So
pardon the interruption. I might have to do that one more time.
yeah, no worries. So before I had asked that question to kind of open up on you and your daughter's journey together, you had started to talk about the spending amounts, and so that did pertain to a question that I had. And so you could talk about then or either now, but have you noticed any changes in the grocery shopping habits or food budget since you've gone vegan?
Well, yeah, since I gone vegan, it was a little cheaper back then, back in 2015. So it's more
Hmm.
expensive now. And but I have noticed a huge change where, some stuff I have to find a distributor for. And I'm gonna talk about this, and I might receive some feedback for it. But because I am certified to do this, because I'm a Dominican University future dietitian,
Hmm.
and I'm getting my master's degree, and this is one of the theses that I'll be working on about plant-based eating. They don't tell you about uh, alternative meats that are good for us and that are bad for us. And it was because of the research that my professors had me constantly doing because of me being plant-based. So I find it to be very expensive because you're getting whole foods.
Hmm.
You want to get fresh produce at all times. And I was going to restaurants, and I'm not going to name those names because I no longer go there. And because they didn't have, a quick turnover of selling their products, they would sell it anyway.
Hmm.
And I remember one time receiving some food and it wasn't fresh, but I was so hungry and I was just so happy to be in the place. And I was like, this has a weird taste to it. And thank God for raw vegan cheese was still in the making.
Hmm.
And you might see it posted up somewhere on my Instagram from back in the days. But I remember tasting that food and it wasn't fresh. And
Hmm.
I ate it anyway. But I went home and I got sick for a whole week because the food wasn't fresh. And I went online and to look up the email. I emailed the owner and she said, you should have brought it back. I said, well, I was so excited. It just taught me so much. Number one, never compromise my produce in the Whole Foods. If a customer says that something's wrong with the food, you always be polite and say, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Let me give you some money back and let me give you something that's more fresher because your name is everything. And so since then, I've seen so many people go on her website and say the food wasn't fresh. So going back, yes, I saw it's food is expensive, and
Mm-hmm.
we're in inflate. I'm gonna cut my camera off one more time.
Okay.
We're in inflation, and with our inflation, it comes with food being more expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and so now that I am preparing food. I've prayed and asked God, help me, God, because I don't want people to, not want to implement plant-based because of how expensive it is. Help me so that I can help them where my prices are affordable, but I'm not staying in the red. Because in the first 3 years of Thank God for All Vegan Treats, I was in the red. And I'm finally seeing a little bit above the water
Yeah.
because God has blessed me to be able to keep my prices reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
I hope that answered
So
the question.
yeah, no. It did. It did. Because I know, like you said, you were when you first started, you had to spend 500 for yourself, and then you had to purchase for your family outside of that. Is it still like that now? Does the family still eat regularly, and you are focused more on veganism?
My family, there's something else. My family eat my food and theirs too. So sometimes now, what I do is no one knows this. They know now if they watch this.
Mm,
So in the spaghetti, you're gonna get some plant-based meat, which is pea
right.
protein.
Hmm.
In the mac and cheese, it's gonna be vegan. So I don't waste money anymore because you're eating my food.
Right.
Uh, they're like, I got fried chicken for them, and I fried some cauliflower for me. And I'm like, didn't I just have 16 pieces of cauliflower? Well, I got 2 pieces for myself. So I'm like, okay, all right, I see what we're gonna do here. When I do a soup, um, I've noticed they waste the chicken soup, but my veggie soup, it's
Hmm.
gone. So I've stopped making so much in my household because
Yeah.
they're eating my food.
But it's
So,
good though. I mean,
yeah.
I've obviously had your food, and the food is wonderful. You would never think that you're eating a vegan substance because not only that, you have like when you came over here, you brought an apple pie that
Oh
was
my gosh,
vegan,
our favorite.
and I'm man super good. I've had the tamales you created, the tacos, the burgers. I mean, all of these things are regular food items that I would regularly eat, but it's more beneficial to my health to eat it. I personally wish that all black folks would experience eating vegan food. Some of us are just so turned off by the thought that this isn't what we're accustomed to in a meat byproduct, an animal byproduct, that we're just like, nah, that's gonna be nasty, man. They don't know what they're missing though.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're missing.
Well,
Um,
it's coming. It's coming because
yeah,
God has been so good. We're landing in places that we never dreamt. And
absolutely,
we're getting more audiences. Like, I got to give a
absolutely.
shout out to Be Love Cafe. That's in the Lundale community. And they're hiring us now a lot more to do their catering, which I'm getting another audience over there in the Lundale
Hmm.
community. We have some upcoming projects that's coming that's going to introduce our veganism to another audience. We went to West Town. West Town found us on YouTube and they said, hey, you belong with us. And we went over there and we fed another community of people who African Americans who are enjoying our food. So it's coming slowly, but it's coming.
Okay, sounds good. So to that I want to tie in a question. So, do you have any tips or advice for someone that would be considering transitioning to a vegan diet?
Oh, I have lots. On a dietitian level and on a personal level. On a dietitian level, we are told to talk to our patients and our clients and remind them of the My Plate. And the My Plate is a chart where the USDA has created so that you can look at how many grains on your plate, how much protein should be on your plate, how much of the vegetables and fruits and the dairy should be on your plate, and how
Mm-hmm.
much you should implement. And that's coming from as a dietitian. And you would go to, the myplate.gov and look, or .org, and you look at that and you would say, okay, so this is what the USDA recommends. This is the intake that they recommend. This
Mm-hmm.
is the recommended intake they recommend. But when it comes to African Americans, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to get so much pushback. Oh my gosh. I recently went to a funeral and I brought and I won't say any names, and they said, if you came in my house and if you told me I need to change my diet, I would tell you there's the door.
Oh, that's
I'm
kind of
still
crazy.
I'm still getting that. I'm still getting that to this day. And
Mm.
I didn't I looked because they're in a position that I wish I could help them become
Mm-hmm.
more plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't say, what's happening, but they're in a position that they need
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But there's ways to implement plant-based diet. You don't have to leave your cultural foods alone. I eat what I want. My mama ate what she wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna eat just like my mama ate." And I wanted to say, and how is it working for you?
You hear me?
But I did. I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "But when you're ready,
Mm-hmm.
I'll always be here for you."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you leave with. Because you can't make everyone, especially the seniors, change what they've been used to and accustomed to for 7 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Some are receptive and some are not. And so I still kind of get that. And then I get the seniors who say, I wanted to try that old vegan. What's that, vegan? Okay, my daughter, she just became vegan, and my nephew just became, and I wanted to see, let me taste it. Give me a little spoonful. Oh, that's not bad. So you do
Yeah.
have some that's receptive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like I said, I it's really good. I have a cousin who's also vegan, and I purchased her cookbook, and to this point, it was like last year, so I still have not made any recipes, but I'm actually on a weight loss journey myself. So I'm
Nice.
down 15 pounds for the month of
Congratulations.
February. Thank you. And my goal is to lose another at least 20, 25 this month. Seriously. So I'm
Congratulations.
gonna throw those recipes in there that my cousin's cookbook provides. And so to that point, what are some recipes that you have that are easily made? Because that was a question that actually popped up on the YouTube. What are some good recipes that you think folks need to have that can make it go on vegan a little easier?
Oh, and thank you so much for asking me that. Let me go back. So, how, as a personal person, to kind of transition is just don't go too fast. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
so many people go too fast and say, cold turkey, I'm vegan. I'm going vegan, and every day I'm gonna be vegan. And next thing you know, you ask 2 months later, and I've seen it. 2 months later, girl, I couldn't keep up. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
so challenging. But I want to say before I segue into talking about recipes,
Yeah. Sir.
is to learn to food prep or find an organization or chef who is, I mean, invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is amazing. You can do self-care as investing in acupuncture, getting a massage, having a chef to help you prepare foods. If
Mm-hmm.
you are serious about weight loss, or if you're serious about decreasing your A1C as a diabetic, if you want to get your high blood pressure under control, so just pace yourself. But the main thing is to food prep. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
don't food prep, you will fail. Because then your body goes into this, oh, I'm so hungry, and you're just picking
Mm-hmm.
anything and everything. I got these crackers. Oh, like, well,
We
I'll
don't go.
go
Don't,
back there.
don't go
Yeah,
into no store hungry. Don't go into no store hungry. You coming out of there with five of everything.
Absolutely.
Yep.
When I go into the store, I've had my banana, I had my smoothie, I've had, whatever it took before, and this is a ritual, and I have my list. I always have
Mm-hmm.
my list. Like right now, I'm writing up the list, that I need for this weekend where we're going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
So, food prepping is essential if
Mm-hmm.
you want to survive uh as a plant-based eater. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I got to say this one more. Um, I also want to share this. I am not on the road. At first, I was. When I first began, I wanted to make everybody vegan. Everybody just had to experience this because, oh, it's just done so many great things for me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm on the road as a dietitian to get you to implement more fruits and vegetables in your diet, if not daily, a couple times a week. Is better than where you used to be.
For
So
sure.
that it has changed for me.
Sure.
So if I can get you to just put some green beans on the side, something that you didn't do before. If I can get you to just say, I'm not going to eat these chips, but I'll eat, you know, some fruit or a smoothie. If I can get you to do that, then my job is done, you know. So, okay, recipes. The best way to find recipes, now you got all, it's not like it was when I was, transitioning and I
Mm-hmm.
had to sit here and think. I had to use my brain. One of the girls, and I'm gonna name drop her. Her name is Raw Christina. It was a Raw Vana and it was a Raw Christina. These girls are, one is Greek, and I think the other girl is Mexican. But I learned from them, but I would take their recipes and make it my own. You can either do that, but find simple recipes that you don't have to go and buy all these ingredients for. Find
Mm-hmm.
simple plant-based recipes that you know are doable and make
Mm-hmm.
them your own.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Wayne, and he said on his interview at Club Shay Shay, because he's vegan. He said, if you can cook anything, like if you can cook food, your regular
Mm-hmm.
food, you can
Mm-hmm.
you can cook vegan food. And I said, that's true. Because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, Michelle, your food is good. Well, it came from being able to follow recipes from mama. And
Mm-hmm.
because I did that, I can translate it and make it my own.
Mm-hmm.
So find doable recipes on YouTube. And you know how some people say, well, I don't have time to do all that. Well, you got time to talk on the phone. You have
Man,
time to
come
look
on.
at a television show.
Come on.
You have time to, we make time for what we
So
want.
y'all done sat there and watched the 8-hour TikTok about this woman marrying somebody, but y'all ain't got. Come on now, somebody lying. Come
So
on,
take
man.
that time, 45 minutes out your
Oh
day,
my god,
and
man.
look at some recipes and say, I can do that. Write it all down, but make it your own. They may not put enough seasonings like herbs. Like I'm a
Right.
herb person, like rosemary's and
Mm-hmm.
thyme. I make it my own. And then
Mm-hmm.
they can never sue me because they can't say, Michelle, you got that recipe from me. No, I got the idea from you. I
Mm-hmm.
just made it my
It's
own.
made it on. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's what everything is about. You know,
Yep.
we in this life of information, in this
Yep.
world full of information, you
Yep.
take it and you make it your own. You know what I
You make it
mean?
your own.
We just
Yep.
build on the foundations that came
Yep.
before. So I received that. I will like to say this for the folks watching again from the outset of this video. I threw
Uh-huh.
$50 on this one. We're gonna purchase some food from Michelle Scott's. Thank God for raw vegan treats, and whomever goes to my YouTube again, my name is my name everywhere. It won't change. You throw Rudis in, it'll pop up anyway. You know what I mean? You like, you subscribe, you comment, or you share the video, and then you comment something that you learned by watching the video that you didn't know before. And then we're gonna pick you at random, and then we'll be able to drop off some of these tasty treats, you know. Um, so as we get ready to, kind of wrap up, I wanted to go into thank God for raw vegan treats and talk a little bit about. Obviously, the name is the name. I get that right off rip, because God, you asked Him to provide you away from illness, and veganism is what came through for you. So
Yeah.
that in and of itself is understandable. But you put treats on it though,
Yeah.
right? So why do
Yeah.
you say treats? Is that your specialty? Is that your focus? Or is it because the treat is the health that comes from the foods? let's talk a little bit about the business.
Amazing. And thank you for that question, because first of all, I never intended on being where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
This is for me, this wasn't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
My career goal. Let me just go back just a little bit so that you can kind of get the backdrop of I've been forever a student. So in 2015, also I was starting my new journey because I was a runner, marathoner. I was seeing so many African Americans getting out there running marathons and they were getting injured. So I felt
Mm-hmm.
like whether you were walking, whether you were running, whether you're jogging, whether you was with your church group, I wanted to be that one that was getting paid as a physical therapist and helping not just African Americans, but African Americans was my specialty, but everyone else. And I wanted to help you get across that line, that finish line, healthy and whole. So I started 2015. I went to three schools. I went to Northeastern, back to Northeastern after I graduated years later, Northeastern, Oakton Community College, and Malcolm X to get my
Mm-hmm.
prereqs for physical therapy. And then I said, well, while I know it's competitive, so let me make sure I got my prereqs for occupational therapy too, because they're linked together. So for 3 years, 2015, 2015 to 20 kind of 18 a little bit, so almost 3 years, I got prereqs. I did all my prereqs just to get the door closed in my face 3 times after applying to all of the schools. I won't name them. But if you kind of listen to my stories in other places, you would kind of
Mm-hmm.
hear them. I dropped those names, and all those schools just kept closing the doors in my face. And I went to 2 of the schools in Chicago and said, why is this door not opening for me? What have I not provided? Why are you not accepting me into your program? Did I do my personal statement wrong? What did I not do so that I can do it right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to hear one of the directors say, just take some fun classes. What? I've taken all the classes you guys require. I didn't say this, but in my
Mm-hmm.
head, I've taken everything you require.
Oh, yeah. Hello. It, oh no. Um, we lost you, Michelle. That's that internet. The internet will get your head time. That internet will get you every time. Mhm. How y'all doing today? Thanks for viewing.
Now
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Now your internet. You
I
said
yeah,
they you
my
last left off with they told you to take some fun classes. You said
fun
I
classes.
done took all the classes in terms of the prereqs and the foundational classes that I needed to take. What do you mean? You know what I mean? So that's where you left off at.
Yep, it was a slap in my face. And so
Mm-hmm.
I walked out of there crying because now all of this money I spent. Now, God has allowed me to go to school, spend all this money on these prereqs for me not to get into the program I want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, God, I surrender. I remember being in the car, I surrender. And he's probably looking at me like, well, finally, because that's not what I wanted you to do anyway. I said,
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do, God? I spent all this money, thousands of dollars, going to these schools and all this time, taking care of my mom because she's on kidney dialysis, just for me not to get into the program." And he said, "Go to Dominican University." I heard the Lord say, "Go to Dominican University." I heard him say it. I said, "I don't even know if they got a program for me." So I'm driving because within the next several months, all of all the classes that I had taken was going to expire. So meaning for if you take your prereqs and then if you don't get into a program, those classes you took will be exempt and you have to take them all over again. And that's money. So I went to Dominican and I walked in and the secretary said, "Hi, how may I help you?" And I'm trying to make sure she don't see that I've been crying. I said, "Well, kind of told her a little bit of this story, and she says, I got the perfect person I need you to talk to." I'm going to name drop him. He's no longer
Mm-hmm.
a Dominican, but I'm going to name drop him because if it wasn't for God, number one, telling me in my ear, small whisper to say, go to Dominican. And just like that. And for him, God, like allowing me to meet him, which is named Michael Sorville.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked into his office, he says, "Come here, come in my office." He said, "You have your transcripts with you?" "Yes, sir." And I don't want him to see me crying. And I told him the story I just told you that slapped in my face and told him the schools
Mm-hmm.
that I went to. He said, he put his hands, Italian guy, put his hands across his chest and he says, "I'm not saying you're not going to become a doctor. I'm not saying that. It's just not right now.
Mm.
But what I am telling you," and this was 2019, before the pandemic, "what I am telling you is that you belong here." I said, I looked around like, who is he pointing to? And who told him that? Because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
hear that. I said, "What do you mean? I never applied to Dominican. I'm just here to find out if you have a PhD program for physical therapy. I didn't do my homework. I'm sorry." But he's like, "No, look at your transcript." He said, "You told me about Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats. This is 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just put Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats in place." He said, "You told me about your passion with nutrition. You told me about this. You told me about that." He said, "I'm looking at all these nutrition programs that you took." He said, "You belong here." He said, "Go home, apply, and you're in." I said, "He can't tell me what to do." I said, "Okay." I walked out. I was so upset. I went to my car and I said, "He can't tell me what to do. I'm not applying here for no nutrition." I went home, applied, sent him the application. I was in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like that. I've been at Dominican University since 2020, and I cannot tell you the doors. I cannot tell you every year of being at Dominican. I don't even have my degree, and they've hired me. They created a job for me, and it's called the
Mm.
Community Nutrition Liaison. And I bridge the
Mm.
gap between the community of Austin,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago policing, with
Mm-hmm.
with the future dietitians. And they come over in my community. I am
Mm-hmm.
in charge of these students coming in my community and teach nutrition to the 15 district police station. They come over and they're under me because of a job that was created, and I have no degree yet.
And all you had
And
to do was listen, though. That's the thing, though. You had to get out your own way. You
come
had to
on
get out
now,
your own way.
you better talk
Yeah.
about it. And all I
Mm-hmm.
had to do was surrender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not my will, but God's will. I
Mm-hmm.
surrendered. And I'm not, someone told me on YouTube yesterday, they sent out a text and says, "I can't wait to see you blow up." And I said, "Well, if I never blow up, I'm doing God's will. I'm on the
Mm-hmm.
assignment. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to blow up. I don't have to be known. And, I'm just doing God's will, and it's fulfilling."
Yeah. Man, don't it feel good though?
Yeah,
And don't it feel good, man, when
absolutely.
you're walking in your purpose? But
Yeah,
again, you have to get out your own way to be able to walk in that purpose.
absolutely.
That's real.
Absolutely.
That's
So I'm
real.
just grateful. I'm really grateful for listening. I call it answering the call to serve. When
Mm-hmm.
I first went to Dominican in 2020, everything shut down. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn all of this, Zooms and doing papers and sending it.
Mm-hmm.
It was all new to me. We were like confused. The students were confused. The professors were confused. They were like, "Listen, bear with me as I bear with you."
Mm-hmm.
And do you know that Dominican University was the first avenue to opening up a farmer's market in the brink of the pandemic so that
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, thank God for Raw Vegan Treats, can be known around the school. They put an article on me, and I'm just like, "What's happening? I didn't ask for
Mm-hmm.
this." And the Lord let me know all I asked you to do was answer the call, and you did it.
Mm-hmm. Man,
So
it's amazing.
I answered the call. And if you don't mind me saying this,
Mm.
we're doing something that we never dreamt of. We are now, thank God for Raw Vegan Treats, will be this Friday from 9 to 3 at the 19th annual Chicago Food Summit, Food
Nice.
Justice Summit, and we will serve 500, at the least 500 people. They just told us in the email,
Oh man. Yeah.
at the least.
You
So
blowing up for real.
I never
You're in the
dreamt
right.
of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And again, if I don't have to become famous. I just want to do God's will. And that's where I'm at now. Because I
Right.
mess up. I mess up when it's when I do my stuff.
Right.
When I follow my own lead, I mess up. So let me just do God's will, and everything works out.
So there's this artist. His name's Bigger Rankin, and he comes on sometimes with this other artist named Lucci, and he always say, "Fame is when they know your name.
Mm,
Notoriety is when they know your
come on,
work."
come on.
It is much better to be notorious than it is to be
Yeah,
famous, especially in this
absolutely,
day and time. And I'm saying that in the
absolutely,
sense that if folks can hear your journey, hear your story and your journey, and then make the decision for themselves to become healthier, and it was all because of you and it's fulfilling God's will for you, then that's much greater than being famous and everybody knowing your face.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely,
what comes with fame sometimes is difficult to manage, but what comes with
absolutely,
notoriety will live forever. So
absolutely,
that's the thing. Let's seek some notoriety about the work that we actually are putting out
absolutely.
versus the fame.
Yes, because your name means everything. And if I have to say
Right,
this, I
right.
didn't finish this, and I want the audience, and thank you, audience, for being able to listen to this. 26 pills a day,
Mhm,
intravenous shots, no longer on any medication as of last 2023. Now, the doctor put me on one pill recently, and it's because I'm in my last year
mm,
of college, my master's program.
mhm,
And the doctor felt one pill, Michelle, just one. I said, no, that's gonna mess up my story. It's gonna mess up my testimony.
mm.
He was like, well, do you want to be in the hospital? Okay, give it to me. So
Yeah.
I've been preaching no more medication, but as of last year, I'm taking one pill, which I'll be
Mm,
off of that soon because they're letting me know once everything gets back into where it needs to be,
mhm,
as far as my digestive system, and stress is causing it now,
mhm.
because of the theses and the thesis
Yeah.
statements I'm working
Yeah.
on, and because of the research, and because I'm running Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats, and it's becoming
Mhm.
bigger than life, and I'm trying to keep up. I got adult children, still keeping up with them, with grandchildren, and I got my life is full.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
doctor's like, one pill, just one,
Yeah.
and continue with your diet. Just
Mhm.
did the colonoscopy, and just grateful. I'm so
Mhm.
grateful to God. So after a while, I'll be back to the testimony of no more medication. But for a long time, I was saying no more medication. But I got one pill, and that's it. So out of
Mm.
26 pills, receiving intravenous shots, on one pill, and that's going to be gone soon. Once I can manage the stress, and
Man,
I'm doing acupuncture, I'm doing it all. I
yeah,
work out, but God
that's a
knows what He's
beautiful
doing.
man. Yeah,
I have
for
to be
sure.
transparent. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. So before we get ready to wrap, I'm gonna give you the big screen so you can say whatever you'd like to say, point people in the direction of raw vegan treats and all that good stuff. I wanted to get your Cash app so I could send you over this
Okay.
50 for whomever. Again, subscribes, likes, comments, something that they learned by watching the video that they didn't know, and share. Um, and then I'll select you at random, and you'll be able to get these $50 worth of vegan treats. So, what's the Cash App?
My cash wrap is dollar sign.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for the number 4,
Mm-hmm.
raw vegan. And if I must say, if you guys want to pick up something on Friday, as soon as Friday, whomever, I don't know how long it's going to take, Dr. Rudis, but if they want to come to the 19th annual Chicago Food Justice, let me see.
Now we got you. I just want to
Got
make
it.
sure the folks know what's happening. Do y'all
Yeah,
due diligence, man. You know what? So I know you was
got it.
starting to promote that. So let me do this. I'm a big screen you. You promote all that good stuff. Tell people where to find you and say anything else you like to say in closing. Let me go ahead and give you the big screen.
Okay. So it's just so much going on. I should probably open up my book, but I want to say thank you all for allowing me to be in your homes on today, listening to my story, listening to my journey, listening to what God has given me, my purpose driven life. This is my testimony, and this is my assignment, and I'm on it. And I want to be so grateful in this assignment, no matter how. Sometimes I'm in the valley, sometimes I'm on the mountaintop, but whatever God He sees fit. I want to be able to say, God, look at me. This is all for you. I give him all the glory. So when you see God, thank God for raw vegan treats, I'm thanking God because raw vegan was what was helping me to cure this disease. And I say cure because I'm just a believer of God. Because if he cured the Samaritan woman, then I know he can cure me. But Friday, we are at the 19th Annual Chicago Food Justice Summit, and that's going to be at the South Shore Cultural Center from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And you can come out, and whoever is the winner, we will have on our menu our vegan jackfruit tacos, our vegan pea protein tacos. We're still working with that menu, but for sure, we're going to have that vegan peach cobbler, our vegan apple crisp. We're going to have some vegan donuts. So I don't want to give a good spoiler alert. Be looking on our Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats YouTube page for updates. Also be looking, you can go on our website at Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats with the number 4.com. And you can go to our website for that, for all our menu, for what we have on our menu, and also visit us on our IG. We post up a lot of where we're going to be at, where to find us on our IG at Thank God the number 4 Raw Vegan Treats _. So we just pray that we see you and that we can make a difference in your life or enhance your life or whatever God say that fits. We just want to be able to show you the love and make sure that we're your supportive community. And that's all. That's it. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you all. And my last words are have a happy, healthy day.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you for coming on and redoing this again. Again, we tried to do this before, it just didn't come out the right way, but I love the way that this one turned out. So I appreciate you for making time this AM. And for everybody that's listening, once again, we threw $50 on this video, but it was given to Michelle in the purchase of some of those raw vegan treats. So if you can't make it out Friday, then a farmer's market still going on. You're still gonna be at the farmer's market and everything.
We got good news. And so stay tuned, everyone. Please follow us on our social media outlets because we have some great news. And I don't want to spoil it just yet because I have a
Okay.
couple more interviews. Okay. I might as well share just a little bit. So, oh my gosh, I just can't believe my heart jumps because I don't know what did I do for God to love me so, but thank God for all vegan treats. And I also have Community First Foundation Inc., which is a 501c3 that God has blessed me with. And we'll talk about that on another show. We are creating, hopefully, prayerfully, our own farmers market in the North Lawndale community. So keep
Oh,
us in your
beautiful.
prayers. We're at the end tail. So
Yeah.
we're no longer at the beginning, we're at the end. So,
Okay.
yes, we have a few more interviews and they're going to let us know, yep, here's the keys, and you have your own farmers market.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so listen, for y'all watching, if you can't make it out Friday at the South Shore Cultural Center from 9 to 3, then that's a potential you can pop through in North Lawndale. Might see her in Austin, maybe West Town. That's, man, look, she in a few spots. So follow the YouTube, follow the IG, check the website, and we're gonna make it happen. But again, once again, I appreciate you so much. And thank you, Michelle, of Thank God for Raw Vegan Treats. And for everybody watching, I always like to say in closing, class dismissed.